Good evening, YouTube. It's all the way short page, aka the Emperor of female female bodybuilding talk. Coming to you live on YouTube. I know you guys, you were looking forward to my one-on-one with Big Jane Akapicha. Well, something happened again. Jane, something's going with Jane. As you know, she's prepping for Toronto Pro, and that's coming in June, and that's going to be the first week of June. So so she's prepping for that show, and I know she got a lot of things to do, a lot of things, but she is going to try to make it to join us tomorrow. I know, guys, you were really excited about seeing her, but I don't want to waste a Monday because I try to be consistent when I do my MuscleTalk Mondays. And if I have to come in like this late in the evening, because I know most of you guys are probably getting off of work and just getting ready, just finishing up supper or just starting supper. And that's what we say down here, we call it supper. Y'all call it dinner. We call it supper. And I do appreciate y'all who have come here and support my content and also my channel, and also as a fan of women in bodybuilding, so I appreciate your time. So, folks, I really want to go into this. As you know, a couple of days ago, actually yesterday, was the Pittsburgh Pro. And, I didn't watch the show. Honestly, I didn't, because, as you know, I've said this, I'm trying to save for a car. And, and I can't watch all pay-per-views. And I'm like this, I'm on the fence when it comes down to this show, because like I said, I'm not a big fan of the Mannion family. And they really, like I said again, I was hoping this year they would add women's bodybuilding to the lineup. And, it didn't happen. I know it's, a lot of things going on with, with bodybuilding, and as a fan, I want to support it. So, folks, I just had a guest to pop in here, and give me a minute. Let me pull them in here. We have here my main man, 50 grand, my right hand man.
Hey,
KLA the Wanderer. He's supposed to sit out today, but as you know,
If you'd have told me to sit in with Big Jane, I would have been like, okay.
Well, no, we're not gonna do that. No,
nah, I can't get that treat. You interviewed her before. I mean, it ain't like.
Yes, I know.
I would have fell back a little bit. I would probably asked her a little question.
You can't be trusted.
Come on, man. She married, right? Married?
No, she has a boyfriend.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
but you
can't be trusted. Because
okay.
The comments you made during my interview with Carolyn Wester, and this lady's
happened?
Come on.
What Carolyn? Who? Carolyn who?
Saturday when I interviewed Carolyn Wester, the wrestling coach.
Oh, the wrestling coach. Okay. Oh, your thing froze a little bit. Oh, okay. All right. I mean, come on, man. I was just joking, man, a little something. It ain't like, come on, it ain't like nothing gonna happen or nothing. Come on, man. Where's she at? I'm in New York City. It ain't like.
But still, sometimes you choose your words wisely, Padawan.
Do you choose your words wisely at times? Do you know
yes,
how many
I do.
times? No, you
yes,
don't.
I do.
No, you don't.
Yes,
no, you
I
don't.
do.
I
Not
do choose my words. Not all the time.
But sometimes I still do the things. I'm not going to water myself down to a limit, but I will say the things that I need to say and I want.
I'm trying to be slick, George.
I'm not trying to be slick. That's how I am. I'll choose my words wisely, but at the same time, I won't water myself down too much.
What does that mean? What
I gotta be me. I gotta be me. Okay.
So you could be like,
yes, that's me.
I can't do that. I can't.
You can do that, but that's you. The way you do it can be a bit creepy.
Yeah. So what? Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. You have to be
Yeah.
entertaining also. That's the thing is that's something you still need to work on. So,
Mm.
so my brothers came here. He come here sitting here. We should have another guest coming. Give them some time to be here a bit. But folks, if you didn't watch the Pittsburgh Pro, as you know, the winner is Natalia Abraham Cuello. As you know, my stance on her, I'm not a big fan. You know, I'm I
Yeah,
feel like
we get it,
she's,
man. We
yeah,
get
I'm
it.
not a big fan.
You're not crazy
But you
about
know
it.
what? Again, she does have a decent physique. I would say that. She's been competing since she's been a teenager, and she's been a pro in her 20s. And also, she's no longer just Natalia Cuejo. She's Dr. Natalia Cuejo. She has got her doctorate in sports medicine. So
Um,
congratulations on that. I mean, hey, that's a lot of work to get to that level, especially when you're a competitive bodybuilder, you're a businesswoman, you have a lot of things to do and try to maintain your life. So, folks, I'm going to jump in here, guys. I know that's what you want to see. You want to see Natalia. So I'm going to pull up this picture for you fellas, and there she is. She's number 2 in the world in women's physique division, and yeah, and the debate is that will she uh, beat Sarah this year? That's the big question. Her condition was pretty good. This is the third show she won since the Olympia because she did 2 shows after the Olympia. That was the Atlantic Coast and also the Clash. And she did Pittsburgh. And when I saw on the list, I said, "Oh shit, I know she's going to win this show. There is no doubt, she's going to win this show because like I said, she always comes in top condition. I mean, some people they said bodybuilding is competitive. I understand it's competitive, but then when you have a former physique champion, for the Olympia, and who has been a multiple time Olympia qualified competitor, I feel like it kind of takes the steam out of the opportunities for other competitors.
I don't got no comment if you
Yeah.
if you expected me to say something.
Well,
I
I'm
don't
just like I
got
say,
no.
it's cool. Just Also, these are the top 3 ladies in bikini and also bikini, figure, and physique. And if you look at these ladies, they are really, this division has really evolved. Lola Montez in the middle, she is possibly
Yeah.
going to be the next figure Olympia champion. You know, in at the Olympia, this other lady, I don't know her much about her, so she's bikini, and you have Natalia, and also someone who made a return because she hadn't competed in almost 3 years is Rachel Daniels, aka the real Lois Lane, as she's called, and she took
Real
second in
Lois
the
Lane.
show. Yeah, the real Lois Lane. She's not
Yeah, I know.
Wonder Woman. Hmm?
I'm just saying it. Real Lois Lane. That's a cool name.
Yeah. A lot of ladies like to use either She Hulk or Wonder Woman
Yeah.
or Supergirl. You know, but she's the one who's used. He calls herself the real Lois Lane, and with
Yeah.
her,
Lois
she went
Lane.
through.
Well,
Hmm?
Lois Lane
Wait,
is a tough cookie.
yeah, she's married to Superman. You gotta be a tough cookie if you're married to the last son of Krypton. But she looked really good. I mean, but this debate is she no longer uh the criteria for women's physique? Does she looks closer more to women's bodybuilding? Who knows? But truthfully, that's the debate. I think some people feel that the vision has changed. As you know, I also had quite a few ladies who were competing show who some Olympic competitors. Most certainly, the number 3 in the world in women's physique is Sharonica Hitton right here. And Sharonica, she's a posing coach, one of the top posers in the sport. Last year, after she took some time off, she made a return. And she got third place at the Olympia, and she decided to do this show. She's already qualified for the Olympia because she's number 3. It's only in the Olympia top 3 is still are allowed to compete, but after it used to be top 5, but for some reason they cut it. But in the men's division, it's still top 5. And Sharonica, some say she fits the criteria for WPD.
Now who's this? Oh,
Sharonica Hinton,
uh, but she's what women what figure or
physique. This is physique.
physique? Well, okay.
Yeah, she's number three in the world. She's right. She's right behind Natalia because Natalia is
Yeah,
number two.
sometimes I can't. Sometimes it's not always. You can't differentiate them a bit because they could look like figure physique. Because I'm looking at what's her name? I was looking at Michelle Moon and stuff, and she's a figure pro, and she's a women's physique, you know. So I mean, like, yeah, how would you tell the difference at times?
Well, one thing with physique, they're barefooted. With figure, they wear high
Yeah,
heels.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I mean, in terms of physique, that's what I'm trying to, like
Well,
trying
one thing, like
to
I'm gonna
get
pull
at.
up this picture of like Lola. If you look, there's another lady who also competed the show who's also a figure competitor that looks like she could be physique, and that is Lena Rumsteiner. And Lena is from Germany. And if you look at her, if you pay attention to some aesthetics, for one thing, with figure, they don't want too much size. They want you to be more smaller. You have a more more taper to your waistline. Like look like remember with Natalia competed in figure before she went on the physique, and she still has that small waist like a figure competitor, but you have to be more wider in the back, capped around the shoulders, but still be a little bit smaller. You're kind of like you're in between a bikini, in between a physique competitor, but still have some good lines. Yeah, and and you look here, you look at Lola. Some say that she could be the next champion for figure because see Gilla retired, and her physique is almost like Sid's a little bit, but she does have a little bit more size and definition, especially with the legs. The legs don't they don't need the quads to be too big, but they still want a good size to them. They want instead again nice capped shoulders, but not too much size in the arms and in the and also in the legs. And good conditioning. You can have a little bit of styration in the glutes compared to bikini or wellness, but not too much where you're closer to the graininess of women's physique or women's bodybuilding. But Lola has a great look. I'm a fan of Lola's. But this is where the issue where it stems from, where I am talking about this one competitor who competed at the show. Her name is Birgit. I don't want to mess up her last name. And Baguette is originally from Austria, and she took fifth place. And the issue is that she's fifth place, you know, and she looks like she's the one right here on the other side of Rachel if you see her.
Yeah,
But she's fifth place in women's physique, and you see you have Natalia, you have Rachel, you have Sharonica, she's fourth. And this is where you look at her, you say to yourself, is this woman physique or women's bodybuilding?
I, I mean, I mean, I don't think the average person would like, get it. Yeah, I mean, because like you said before, they're evolving. So I mean, like what bodybuilders would evolve to?
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing was, the division was supposed to come in and become an alternative for women's bodybuilding, but now in
No,
the
I'm
last few
saying, but
years,
no,
mm,
I'm trying to ask, like, what would bodybuilding evolve like with the women bodybuilders? If the physique competitors evolving to almost look like women bodybuilding, like what's the limit?
don't know. Like I said, it could keep evolving. Is I won't say be close to the men because women can never put on as much mass as men. Here is also Anna Prince, and she took fifth. Some say with her look, she should have been fourth, and I think Brigitte should have been a little lower on the end. Because one lady who I'm a fan of, who competed at the show, she should have placed a little higher, and that is Barbara Majan. Barber, she is number 4 in the world in women's bodybuilding at the Olympia. And I had the pleasure of interviewing the man Wizell a while back. But it's just the aesthetics. We have here some people that's popping in here. Shout out to our man Damon J. He's here. He says, the topic of today is very complaining to the women who is in current Miss women's physique Olympia champion because her standard look of her physique is what made the WPD move the boundaries, the borderline women's bodybuilding look. Also, he says this. Shout out again to Damon. You know, uh, wait, give me a second. Yeah, wait, okay. All right. Shout out to Damon again. He says, regardless of how she invests in the sport and in the division, the type of overall look that Miss Vilgas brings is what IB Pro Olympia judges continue to reward. That's the thing. And he says this also. He says, she's not the most popular Olympia champion, but her money talks and does a lot for her benefits to help her be successful in her career. Yeah, but like I said again, you know, who is supposed to do it? Who's supposed to step up? If you can't get people from outside the sport to step up, it has to be people from within the sport. I'm going to put up this picture, guys, and I want to get your opinions of what you feel is really the standard of, because here it is. Now we have here, right here at the top, we have Barbara Majan, we have Brigitte, then we have Richard Daniels, and we have Sharonica Hinton. And if you look at them, there's a debate that Sharonica and Barbara look like the standard for WPD, but Rachel and Brigitte are kind of moving away from the look of the division. Even though Rachel has a great physique, I'm a fan of hers. I mean, I follow social media. I post something, she responds, not directly to me, but she has responded, But the thing is that where the division is moving away from?
I have no idea. I don't got no comment.
Yeah. Well, we have here a comment from my man Damon J. Says it's so weird, though that Natalia Guerrero wins the Pittsburgh Pro Show and her hand is raised by Sarah Vilgas on her right, her Olympia rival and current champion. Well, because she's the current champion, she had to be there. It's the Pittsburgh Pro became this. It became a festival weekend because it used to be in the past. It was a 1-day show, and what it did was they changed it, and now it was a 2-day show. It started Saturday with the men's divisions, and also it's I talked about before. It also was a natural pro qualifier. So we just picked up some new IB pros in men's divisions and women's divisions. Mostly, I think figure, I think wellness, and I believe bikini, and physique. They don't do natural women's bodybuilding because it just look like there's a bunch of physique competitors. Shout out to man Damien J says Sharonica competed way back with Julia Manicarne back in the day, as that look back then is what I prefer for the standard look today, but it's not, unfortunately. Yeah, that's unfortunate, brother. Also, he says this. He says Sharonica here is one of the most beautiful ebony Nubian black queens in the WP. I have to say, yeah, I appreciate that, brother. Yeah, she is. Also, he says this again. He says, shout out to my man Damien. He says Richard Daniels real nickname is the Lone Wolf. Well, that's one of them, maybe. But also, he says this. He says, I was pumped up with Rachel standing next to Natalia Cuejo. Yeah, but it's just the thing is, I think that the requirements we talk about this for the judging requirements need to really sit be set to what the division is supposed to be set to. You know, like how you seen someone like Sarah get rewarded for her physique at the Olympia, and then you look at other competitors who don't get that same look compared to Latalia or Sharonica. You know, Sarah, if you know Sarah, she's put on some size, and her condition is crazy. I think it's one thing. It's David said. I think it's one reason why the division's changed because Sarah's coming to the game, and she really just changed some things. What we're gonna do is, folks, I'm going to jump in here, and we're gonna pull a little video. As you know, I want to give a shout out to the real Lois Lane because I know Damien Jay's a fan of hers, and she made an announcement this afternoon. And I want you guys to hear the announcement as she is already planned for another show. So we jump in here.
After Pittsburgh Pro, let's get into it. So I got second place at Pittsburgh Pro after being off stage for 2.5 years. Listen, guys, I picked this show because I wanted to be up next to the biggest, baddest girls in the world to show them what I can do. And guess what? I did. Natalia, who has won the Olympia, who's currently second in the world, we got called out, just the two of us, to battle it out. But I gave her a run for her money, and that is exactly what I was coming to do that day. It was really cool to see that we were that close to each other. I did place better than number 4 currently ranked in the world, number 5 currently ranked in the world. Even though I got second at Pittsburgh Pro, huge pro show. And this is a mini Olympia. We have the Olympia judges there. It sets me up to be in an amazing spot to kind of get a forefront and see how I'll do at the Olympia as long as I keep progressing and moving forward. Now, personally, on a personal level, this was the closing of a giant chapter of my life. I went through some really terrible things to get to this point. Not just the dog bite, not just some of the stuff you see on Instagram. There's things I went through that you guys just don't know about. So for me, doing this show, making it there, and then also bringing the best package I've ever brought in my life was just couldn't have gotten better. I had the best peak week I've ever had with my 2 best friends, Shawnee and Mike Summerfield. Love them. My coach, Andrew Vu, this was our first show together, and he coaches both Natalia and myself. Blew it out of the water. Big thank you. He has changed my entire perspective on bodybuilding, and I have nothing but good vibes going right now. God did not give me this win, but he gave me a lot of other wins because he's setting me up for something bigger and better. And I truly believe that. So not a loss. Had a great time. I showed the IFBB what I can do. Hurt some feelings. And now I'm 2 weeks out again. And I'm not worried about qualifying for the Olympia this year. I will be there. And things are just going to get bigger and badder for everybody. So see you guys in 2 weeks at Shreveport, Louisiana. And the real Lois Lane is back. What's up, guys? Morning after Pittsburgh Pro. Let's get into it. So I got second.
How long she been competing? How many shows she has done so far? Hello? George? Oh no. Something wrong with my end. Hello?
Oh, yeah, I just stepped away for a minute because I got a call.
I thought it was something wrong with my end and stuff.
No, I got a call while I was on the phone. I saw the message and I just that's why I showed Rachel's thing. But she's been competing as a pro since 2021. Now she's done at least between her first show was the St. Louis Pro, where she got a qualification. And then she did the Olympia after that. She came back in 2022. I think she did St. Louis again and got another qualification with St. Louis. I think it was Pittsburgh. No, it was Pittsburgh, I think, that next year. And she done Olympia. She has not cracked the top 10 so far, but she does have a lot of potential. She's a great physique. She's been competing for a long time. Her story, she went through a lot in the past. As you know, she said she got through a divorce. She had been a victim of a dog bite.
Mhm.
She's been doing some stuff on the side. She's working as a coach because she's working with, I think, with real superheroes. That's what she's coaching
Yeah.
now. And this is where the debate is like she's really put on some sides. Some say, is she still a physique level competitor, or she could do well in women's bodybuilding?
She can't double dip.
No, you can't. When you are an open competitor, you can't double dip unless you're
She's
doing,
open. Like, what do you mean open competitor? Like, what she's
meaning
what?
that she's like to get to Olympia, the main Olympia, you have to compete in open shows, which means
Oh,
you are open pro. If you do
okay.
now, only people that can double dip in the pro level is master competitors, but they have to
Oh, all
pay
right.
to compete. Yeah, because you do
Okay.
master, you have to pay, and you could do both. If you're a physique competitor, you can do both physique and women's bodybuilding. But you have to
So
pay for
you
those
have to
events.
be a mat. You have to be a masters to double dip, and
No,
she's
no, you can't. Masters don't double dip.
say
Oh yeah,
run
masters. Oh
that
yeah,
by
masters.
me.
Yeah,
Run that
yeah,
by
masters.
me. Again, please.
Yeah, masters do double dip. Yeah, masters can
Oh,
double dip.
okay.
Oh yeah, I thought you
Okay.
said
They,
yeah.
okay. All right.
Yeah. I know who I know, Robin Mays. She did a show last year where she did both women's bodybuilding and women's physique. And
Okay.
masters
So
are the only one.
she's an open competitor. So she has to do strictly women's physique. She can't go to another division like that.
Well, if she wants to, if she feels like she wants to go up, she can move up.
But for
But
her to go to Olympia, that's what I'm trying to get. Like
yeah,
all right.
she like but I know ladies who have qualified for Olympia after they switch divisions. But if she does a show, she has to particularly do that division she's going to do at the show. She can't do two divisions at the show.
Okay.
So when she competes at the Olympia, or if she does a pro qualifier, I mean I'm sorry, she does an Olympia qualifier, and she's competing in a Pacific division, she
Hmm.
has to do that division. She can't do another division at the show because what they
Okay.
do, they sign a contract. In that contract, you can only do the division you sign up for. Now, if you do, like I said again, if you do masters, you can do both divisions. You can do women's physique and women's bodybuilding. I don't know if they let big competitors do that either. They might, because they can double dip. Here we got a comment from my man, Jay again. He says, because he got a lot of brothers been up here. Say he says this. He says, Shiraka, honestly, is my opinion, should be the standard of WPD. I know, but that's not the judges are doing. I'm rewarding. Also, he says Damon J says that yeah, I was surprised Parmesan didn't place in the top five. Yeah, I was really surprised because Barbara 2 weeks before this show did the Van Isle show in Vancouver, British Columbia. She won the women's physique title there, which qualifies her for fifth uh, Olympia, and she's been top four competitor for the last 4 years. So I'm thinking, my thought was that I thought she do was going to get in the top five. Like my thing was, I I knew she was going to win. As long as you had Natalia there was a chance she's going to win. And then you still have people like Rachel and Sharonica and maybe a couple others that probably could have cracked that top five. I thought she might be either maybe third or fourth, but she got seventh place. And I said, that's crazy. Seventh place? That's really low. But like I said, she's really a trooper. It says, I could care less about the wellness and bikini, but the lineup in the WPD was solid with Rachel, Natalia, Anna, and Sharonica. Yeah, I mean, it was a good lineup. I mean, it was supposed to be originally 12 competitors, but one of these dropped out. Don't know why what happened. She lives in Spain. It could have been a travel issue, or in some cases, it could have been like a medical issue. If this is one thing is when you sign a contract to do these shows, you have to have if you can't do it, you have to have an excuse, or you have to pay a fine. I think it's about $1,500 for the fine because she signed a contract.
I don't know. I think maybe I need to come back out because
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know you. Is it me or you? But let me come back out.
All right.
I'll come
Okay.
back. I'll come back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. This is from a man, Lawrence Perkins. About 2 weeks ago, I knew Natalia and Rachel was going to the top two neck to neck. Yeah, that's right because they are. I would say they are the top level for the division, and these women have done pretty well in their career. Natalia, like I said, has been competing for a long time. As you know, has been uh, a physique champion. She has been a Miss Physique Olympia. She has been in competing for a long time, and she also recognizes the work she put in over time. But she's still hungry for a shot at that title. And her and Sarah have this big rivalry. They've been rivals for as long as you can remember. So here there he is. I think my man came back. Here he goes.
For some reason, I had the computer on a little longer because for you to thank you.
Yeah, I know.
Let's
Yeah, I
upload
know.
this video. Let's uploading this video too. So then when we hear, it start acting up. So,
Yeah, I could tell you that. Just something about my computer too. Here we got a comment from Dame J. Says Amanda Machado is Moya Continente. Just saw her on the screen. Oh yeah, she was. It was on. I was on Kalayo. Kalayo from Hardcore Fitness. I mean, Hardcore Female Bodybuilding fan. He follows a lot of ladies. Shout out to him. He also makes content. Yeah, I can jump on his IG. And I think I heard that possibly, and this is Amanda Machado, that possibly Amanda might be doing either, I think she might be doing New York or she might do Toronto. I thought she was gonna do possibly do here she is. I thought she would possibly do Pittsburgh, but she decided to do probably New York or maybe try to do Atlanta. And she competed last year in Chicago and Atlanta. She was top two. She was a second runner up to both times to Anna Hearth, and she has really grown. She lives out in Vegas. She's even been working with bodybuilders like Chelsea Dion and also also I think she's working with who else? Oh yeah, Susan Graham. And these two, she has a great look to her. I mean, she's really put on some thighs. This is his with her fiance.
I know she do sessions.
No, I doubt it.
Yeah, no, I think I seen a video with her. She wrestles. She do like wrestling videos.
No, she probably did back in the day.
Oh.
Yeah, but not now because she's running her own business. She hangs out with Lavinia Barros.
Maybe that's back years back, but I know I've seen her doing like wrestling videos.
Yeah. So, and we got another comment from shout out to my man KL says, I know it's 5 people in the chat right now, but I feel like I'm the only one here, Lawrence Perkins. But anyway, I digress. That's what's up, bro. And Lawrence says, good afternoon. Shout out to you, Lawrence. Everyone, good afternoon, everyone. And also he says again. Also we get here a comment from Dave says, when does the IFB New York Pro competitor list come out this week? Well, I'm hoping it should be out by now. I'm going to check, but I think they won't.
This coming Saturday, right?
Yeah, coming this Saturday because you say you're going there.
Yeah.
But the list is not. Yeah, so because you're gonna go to on the finals because you feel like you won't be able to see the prejudging.
Yeah.
Well, the list's not out yet. I think they probably won't drop it until about 9 or 10 o'clock.
Hopefully, I don't be not good. I'm sorry, I ain't mean.
Yeah. I will say I know some confirmations. I know Dion did an interview with about channel. She said she's going to be doing the show. Chelsea did both the an out show. She went by out show, got her third qualification. Also, she did Below Dynasty, which got her. She took third at that show. Nadia Capasoto is going to do New York Pro, and yeah, yes. Yeah, that was so yeah. Hey, I'm from the South. We say it how we spell it.
It's Spanish. It's Papa.
No,
you got to say her name right
because she's Italian. She's Italian.
Okay, but you saying it wrong because
I'm saying how I say it.
Capacosto.
Lucky New York. Lucky New York.
Because if it was the other way around, you'd be correcting me. You be correcting the hell out of me. I know how you is.
That's people that matter to me. I correct you about.
Yeah, you say her name right. Capatoso. You playing, but go ahead.
Yeah, playing. Here, this is from a man. Lawrence says, can be any one time in okay. Well, he says like this. Oh, so this actually go like this. It's the first comment. He says, I understand, Damien J. You title to your opinion, bro. I can be anyone's game, and most of those women deserve it to be on the top level. We want to as admirers, but I look at it like this, not next time. Oh, he said, I think it's Owen says, he says, yeah, Lois Perkins, Queer may be a former Olympia champion, but Rachel Daniels stole the show. So yeah, because she's a great poser, and he's laughing at us. This is from Lawrence. He's laughing at us. Oh. Okay, and also this is from Damien says, I know it's hard for me to pronounce her name, KL Nadia Capasoto.
Capatosto.
Whatever. Capatos.
That's
Capafio.
Break it down.
Capatos. I just say Nadia. Because like I said, I don't. If I can't
Nadia,
say it right,
say Nadia.
If I can't say it right, I'm not gonna mess it up.
Say Nadia C. Say Nadia C. Or Cap.
Nadia C. Nadia Cap. It's called another Cap. But the thing is, as I said again, the divisions are getting to the point where the guy we talked about before, the guidelines are just not being followed by the judges.
George, you kind of blurry. I don't know if it's me or you. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Check it, maybe
no, just keep going. Keep going.
Yeah. But the thing is that they set the standards, the judges and the officials, of what division is supposed to be. And you look at people like women in the division now, like you look at Sarah, you look at also someone else I'm thinking about, Zama Binta. And you remember, was she competed at the 10-Bay Pro, and she was coming in, I did a video, I took a video for her where she was walking in, I think, onto a bus or something. And if you look at her back was just crazy. And and the debate is that this is one lady that looked like she did a couple years ago. She did compete in for a moment. And she did, that was back in 2022, she did the Romanian Muscle Fest. And you look at it now, she's really, she was, in 2023, she was in the top 5. She took, I think she took 3rd place, but then this year she dropped out of the top 3.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And you look at her, she has put on crazy size. Like, look at her shoulders, look at her traps. I mean,
How tall is she?
I don't know. Maybe maybe 5'3", 5'4". See if she's that tall. Because if you're Sarah's a pretty tall woman. I think Sarah let me 5'7", and then at the high heel to me about 5'9", or she might be 5'6". But Capasoto is just it's like that. Zama is just she's a beast. I mean, I think a lot of these ladies come from Brazil really put on a lot of size and muscle. She has that small waist, but if you look at her from the back, look at her traps, look at her shoulders. Just crazy dense. I mean, that's her friend working with her husband, And she, like I said, I'm a fan of hers. I mean, I think she has a great physique. How she played this year, don't know. She has to qualify because, as you know, if you don't get the top 3, you don't get to go to Olympia. You have to do a Olympic qualification show. So she might try to do Tampa again, which she won last year, or try to do Texas, or she might pop on New York and try to give Natalia a shot. Because I think I'm not certain yet, because that's why I'm waiting on the list, that possibly Natalia might do New York Pro.
Yeah, I mean, I don't got no comment.
Yeah, you see. But yeah, here we got a comment from our man. Shout out to our man here. Shout out to Baby J says Zama Binta is otherworldly. She is a stunning specimen of human woman. Also, shout out to the man Lawrence says Zama Binta is a true beast. Yeah, she is. Again, we have here in huge fan of Zama myself, and I think she's amazing. Her proportions is ridiculous. And also, this is from Damien J says, "Hell yes, Zama is a beast." Yeah, I mean, we talk about how the vision keeps evolving, and if you look at it now, like I remember, this is a picture I took. It is a picture I made side by side with. It was from last year's um Triple O.
Oh.
Now you have here the winner from last year, Teresa and Vasic. And right here you have Ann Gruber who won it last year. Now, if you look at these women, you couldn't tell too much of a difference. Now, if you were untrained eye, I would ask you which one is physique and which one is bodybuilding.
Are you asking me or you just asking in general?
I'm asking you.
They both look like women's physique. Which one is women's bodybuilding?
That would be Teresa.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, they look alike. I mean, for like the average person, it wouldn't be like what would be the difference? Like, I know, like you say Teresa Vach, you critique her on her legs, like her legs is not big enough, quads or something like
that. Yeah, because I think that's one thing you need more size in the quads. She has a great upper body, great back, but the thing is, size is important. Then here we go. We have another critique, and that is if you look at this is Natalia from the 2023 season when she won at Atlantic Coast, and you had Ashley Jones when she still in physique, and you can see Ashley started evolving. She was fitting for a good while. and she moved over to women's bodybuilding. You know,
Natalia, it's not that far from her. Like, I know. Well, I mean, it depends on the photo too. You know, but she doesn't look that far, like, different from Ashley.
yeah. Here we got here. This is from man Damon. Shout Damon says, God, hope not George Natalia needs to focus on the Olympia. No other shows for all the other competitors' sake. Yeah, that's true. I say that. Yeah, focus on Olympia. We have Vinny K. Vinny says, just why until New York Pro they're delaying the list. I don't know. Here's what it says. When you do this, you have to sign and be certified, and you have a time limit because you have to turn in the list within a certain deadline. So IB gets ready to set the list so they post it on their NPC online channel. They'll wait for all everybody to turn in. It's like turn your ballots for the voting. They have a certain time to turn them in, and once they turn them in, they're post them. But it's not. I think it's gonna be. It's already like 8:43. About 9:00. So likely we'll probably see it at 10. Shout out to my man Vinny says, and Hoover competed with fewer competitors that year, so it was a default victory. Well, I won't call it a default victory. She won. It's not about it's not about the numbers. It's about the quality of the competitors. She won. Yes, compared to this year's where you had no winners at the at Triple O, but you had at least about 14 women at the Van Isle show. And one reason why I had that many women because there was no sponsor for women's physique for the Triple O, and there was another show that same weekend as the Van Isle, which was the St. Louis Pro, and that promoter dropped women's physique, and it added wellness in its place. So they needed a first of year show to get out of the way, and that's why so many of them jumped onto that show because most of the time, the Vancouver show, I think the last few times, there was always more women's bodybuilders than physique competitors. One year they had 3 women's physique competitors. One year they had 5. I think the only time they had the fewer number of women bodybuilding competitors was the first year. They only had Eva Montgomery. She won by default because she was the only competitor there. Shout out to my man Damien J. Says, Netta Cuello, it seems like she does the same shows coming back always, Pittsburgh and New York and the Atlanta Coast Pro all the time. Her ass needs to focus on the Olympia. This is coming from a fan. Yes, I know. Now, she hadn't done New York and Pittsburgh last year because I think one reason why I interviewed Natty Wolf, who competed at Pittsburgh that year. She won because there's only 3 competitors, her and 2 other ladies. I interviewed 2 ladies, her and Sam, who competed also at that show. And I think one reason why it wasn't that many competitors because I think some ladies didn't want to feel like if Natalia does that show, then what's the point of me competing there? They could say and they only had 5 ladies at St. Louis. That was 2 more compared to, but the promoter said that if there's not a lot of bodies, he's not going to keep on sponsoring. But the thing is, you had at least 5 ladies compared to Pittsburgh. But Jim Mannion, he's a bigger name, I think he really writes off some of this stuff, when it comes out to the money stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Also, Pittsburgh had a big chunk of change. I think it was $10,000 for first place in women's bodybuilding. I mean, women's physique. And I was, and did the winner who won the show for men's open because the first year they had men's open because they really want to get attention. They got men's open. Derek Lumford, who won the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic, won $100,000. This is where it kind of rubs me wrong. So you come up with $100,000 for men's open, but you said you can't come up with enough money to promote and sponsor. You can take the $100,000 and cut, 30 out of it. I mean, and because you got to think about it, not just $100,000 for the first place, but you still have money for the top, I think top 3 competitors. So you couldn't tell me you couldn't move a little money around and possibly add women's bodybuilding to this show. because one person who lives in in Pennsylvania is Teresa Vasic. I think Teresa Vasic would love to do a show closer to home for her.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, we got here a comment from Damien says the Olympia battle thing this year. Hope I will be good for the all the divisions on the Olympia TV channel. You know, that's the thing where you have the competitors who win the shows come together. The top three competitors. You know, last year it was Ashley, Andrea, and Angela. But now with the Rising Phoenix changing gears, um, they did put out invitation lists like they usually do because you usually get an invitation list right before March. But it's going to be an open show, so that means I don't know if they're going to still do the same battle for women's bodybuilding. They might just with Ashley and Angela and Andrea, but it's up to them.
Hello? Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah. That's right. I just got a message that's chicken. So, folks, this is again women's physique. It's just I don't know what's the standard. Why are there are keep changing the guidelines, keep changing the goalposts? I feel like every year, and the debate is what's going to happen. You know, this talk like there's fewer shows this year for women's physique. They were kicked out of 3 places as usual. One show they're not going to have. They're going to have the Masters, but not the Open. A show coming up that usually had it about every year was the Legion Sports Festival, but now it doesn't have that or figure. And as you know, Jake Wood came in the last minute. Him and Alina Popa. They say we're invited to Tampa. So the question is, will women's physique start getting that same kind of standby as women's bodybuilding? If these girls are getting bigger and larger and huger and more developed, will it just push out? And with Fit Model coming in, that's a big question. Would that also help push out women's bodybuilding? What's the point when you have a division that looks so much closer to the other?
Oh, can't tell you.
Yeah. So, bro, you talk about getting ready for the New York Pro. So you enjoy yourself? You're gonna have a good time?
Well, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to get there. Get there as much as I can. I'm gonna try to. I mean, try to be there early. Try to get there before I miss like the women's bodybuilding physique. I try to be try to get there on time than how it was last year. I was missing things, and we'll see. We'll see. You never know what can happen. Hopefully I meet somebody and talk a bit. But I'm not gonna lie. Like last year it felt I felt a little out of place when I was there. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was like all these muscle people. I was like, yeah, it's like a planet of muscle people. Really, I didn't really see like people that was like average person. Like I think like when I was like looking at like the videos I filmed, like I probably had seen like some like average people get up and stuff like that, but a lot of them they were big and stuff. And I don't know, I just had like a different like like outlook on them. Like they like they really close minded. Like they have like this wall, or what I'm saying, like they don't really. I don't know, but then again, I probably could have said something to some people and stuff. I did speak to one person, but
Yeah, I think you
it's
told me
just
it was
one.
just Fairborn.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's all you do. All it takes is just like I remember when I went to Savannah, and I was kind of because for me it was my first body show I ever went, and I did get to talk to one person that I really appreciate her reaching out to me. I was there was Donna Salih. And
Yeah.
I also one guy I interviewed both him and his wife, Stephen, his wife. You know, she's a physique competitor. I don't think she's competing anymore, and she was competing at Savannah. And he was there. We were talking. I also got took some other people, and and I got to meet Lena Popa, and and I wish I did more, but it was my first time, and something like
Yeah, I
that.
mean,
And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I can't really sweat it. Just you get another chance, you see what you can do. That's it. Don't beat
I'm
yourself
hoping.
up.
Yeah,
Nothing
that'd
like
be,
that.
like I said, I'm hoping maybe next year I get a chance because I'm trying to save for a
Yeah.
car. And here we got here. Shout out to a man. Damon J says the prize money is always a huge letdown for women. Every time such a unequal, unfair amount of money given to the ladies compared to the men. Well, the thing is, we all know. I keep saying this: the men's division is the bottom bitch. It's the one that's always get the promoters, to get the sponsors to put behind it. The women. I think if the women can get a little, I'm not saying you should get the same. They're not gonna get the same thing as the men, but a little more. I mean, if you're gonna get someone like Derek Love for $100,000, at least give Natalia, like, I would say, $30,000 or $40,000. I think she would like that. I think competitors who love to have a good chunk of change, because think about it. If you do a show and you get at least maybe $20,000, that's enough to take care of most of your expenses. Because prep is expensive.
Mm.
Counting the travel to the shows, counting to getting your hair and makeup done, counting food, paying your coaches. I mean, I do content on MMA. MMA fighters don't get paid as much because most of the stuff they get is comps. But then once they get their fight money, the show money, and also if they, like, you said, the UFC just had an event last night. They had some couple fighters who won performance of the night. That's $50,000. And they get maybe about $60,000 for a fight, if that much. And they have to pay all their people, their coaches, their trainers, everything else, and pay taxes. They may have a good chunk of change. And they think about it, you get $50,000 out of nowhere. Hey, that changes your life. Here we got a comment from a man,
Mm. I
Sean
don't
Mimit.
know when I'm gonna see a good chunk of change.
Yeah, we broke. We can't get it. Sean says Zella Binta looks more like female bodybuilding. Well, she is female bodybuilding. Don't you mean women's bodybuilding? There's a big difference. When you talk about female bodybuilding, you go, okay, female bodybuilding consumes all the divisions: women's bodybuilding, physique, figure, fitness, bikini, wellness, and even But to me, that's not real bodybuilding, fit model. Here we got here from again from a man, Sean. He says Richard Down looks like a cross between WPD and open class FPB, which means open class women's bodybuilding. Because she is but she looks like that. She's very close to it. He says this again. He says Rachel Daniels looks more like he says that twice. Brother, yeah. Also, um, he says this. He says WPD looks like open class women's bodybuilding circa 92, 96. No, I wouldn't say that. If you look for those women at the 90s, if you look at people like Linda Murray to Kim Zaveski, the women physique now are way bigger than them. They're closest to the women, I would say, between the 2000s to 2010. They're closer to the women of the Iris era. They're bigger than Iris. If you look at them, actually, the ones who figure competitors are even bigger for the women from the 90s. If you look at them,
Yeah.
we have here again. This is from Ms. Johnson. Danyana Dali has a lot of size for WPD competitor. Yeah, I remember I was interviewing Big Jane. She mentioned her, uh, and she said that she was going to do women's bodybuilding, but she switched to women's physique because she started doing open hands instead of the closed fists. Also, says Sean Millen, the era of women's bodybuilding, open women's bodybuilding was the best era of women's bodybuilding, the early '90s. I would say, yeah, that's true. He says, Diana, he said that again. He's repeating himself. Dude, you gotta, you clean
Hello?
yourself too much. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? All right. Am I going in and out? It might be me. Hello? Let me check something. Can you hear me?
Yo,
Can you hear me?
hold on.
Okay. Well, give it a moment. We'll try to come back. We have a comment here. This is from. You see, we got a comment here. This is from. Shout out to David J. He says, Sean, part of me that complicate with the way that women's physique division looks, because it reminds me of the 1996 era. But another part of me feels it's a bit easier because this is not what WPD should be. Yeah. Also, it's back and forth between Sean. He says, WPD, when the division first came to be in the 2012, compared to now, look like pro female bodybuilding first started in the 80s compared to what it had become by the late 90s. You know. Also, this is from Shine says 75,000 prize money for women's physique. That would be nice, but I think they probably won't give them that much. They won't even get that much at the Olympia. $40,000, for some competitors, and $50,000 for physique and women's bodybuilding. Here he says $100,000 for the women's bodybuilding division since they are the veterans category of the IFBB. Yes, I agree. I agree that that Andrea should get at least $100,000 for the Miss Olympia. $100,000 is a good chunk of change. Now that they changed the prize money for the Rising Phoenix, it wouldn't be interest for her to compete and get less than what she gets compared to Olympia. And I think she'll rise up the money to prize money. I think that's what Jake might be doing. I hope he gets. Shout out to Sean says, I agree with the 1996 being the best era for pro female bodybuilding. And also, shout out to says, now George, they're not bigger than Iris. I've seen them, they're smaller than her. I don't know. If you look again at some of the ladies, I think this is like, so you got to think about it. This is, Iris was like almost 10 years ago. This is 10 years. Now, if you put, Rachel beside Iris back in 2014, there is a bit of a size spurt, just a bit. If you put only thing I think one thing would be the legs, but there are some women
don't come in the panel, man, and talk with you. Ways behind there, they probably know more than me and stuff, and they just behind the panel. But I don't know. Just go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No. That's the point. That's a good point. That's the point. Damon J, son, you sitting there in the panel section. There's a link. I pinned it. You want to come in? Come in, son. I used to call Raheem Hamilton. Come in, Dad. Come here, boy. Come take your whooping. That's why if you want to quarterback, a Sunday afternoon, couch quarterbacking. Come in, son. That's why I leave that link for anybody who wants to come in and give their thoughts. This is why it's open to anybody. Like some of that one time remember that time we had that guy.
Yeah. that was wow. That was different. I was like, I was like thinking he going somewhere with that Jesus talk. I was like waiting that female bodybuilder gonna come in, just waiting for that. But nah, that was weird, yo. That was like the weirdest one that you had.
Yeah, he just popped in and just like, I'll say, okay, sir, and I let him talk for a little bit, and then I said,
yeah, you had to let him go with that.
I mean, it's crazy. We got here. Shout out to man Sean says nowadays WPD might as well be the new lightweight women's bodybuilding class. As you know, a few years ago, remember back in 2000s, they did create lightweight women's bodybuilding and heavyweight women's bodybuilding. And if you look at kind of a bit, but the aspects are different. The women's bodybuilding has to be more defined, more size. It has a certain look to them, while physique is supposed to be more leaner and athletic. But again, if you look at the women now who are coming up, it's really moving away from what the vision was supposed to be, you know. And if you're looking at physique competitors who are, looking more like women's bodybuilding, most say they don't want to move up because, they use that excuse that they want to get bigger or be less attractive or like that. But this one young lady, I think she's planning on competing soon. She was a figure competitor, and she made the switch from physique to from figure to physique. That is Paula Ranta. And Paula, like I said, she's young. She's in her mid-20s.
I'm kind of impressed with her. I did like a video earlier. I was tempted. I like her.
Yeah.
Paula. How long she been a pro?
I think she's been pro for maybe 5 or 6 years. She's been Olympia twice as a figure competitor.
Oh yeah.
And last year she made the switch from figure to WPD. She did at least 6 shows, cracked the top 5, but I think she needed more time to stew a little bit. I think she jumped in a little too soon.
Did Dave interview her yet?
I don't know, David. I don't know if she speaks English or not.
Yeah, because this man done made so many interviews with these women. It's not even funny. But then then again, he attends to the shows like often.
Yeah, because he's going to be in New York.
Oh yeah. Maybe I might catch him and stuff. Maybe I'll catch him.
Because he's going to go to the finals, and almost everything's going to be semifinals. Right there, he lives in Florida, and a lot of shows. A lot of shows in Florida.
He could just drive there and stuff. So
yeah. He would comment from a man. David says Sarah Vigor standing next to Iris Kyle. I might pull a picture like that, but I think Sarah's a little bit leaner compared to Iris, but a person that might fit a little better towards Iris, I would say would be Zama. Zama might, especially around the shoulders. Also from David J says Anna Prince standing next to Iris Kyle. Now then, ladies are not that big. Yeah. But like I say, they often say they're always not that big. One thing when you see them in pictures, but compared to shows, there's a difference. There's a bit of a size disbursement. But there's some women, I think it's condition is one thing, size is another thing. It's just, like I said again, the walls are kind of getting thin between the two divisions.
Mm-hmm. I ain't got no comment.
That's all right. This is a learning process for you. You need to learn a little bit because you're doing your interviews. You're doing interviews, ladies. You have to be aware of what especially when you're doing content on bodybuilding. Some ladies, they like to know that you understand what they're dealing with, what they're talking about. Also, you just have to educate yourself just a little bit each time. Because when I do interviews, when I interview with Carolyn, when she told me that she knew Miss Elizabeth back in the day.
Wow. I heard when she was saying that. Yeah, that's cool. That was cool.
Yeah.
What did you thought about my interview yesterday?
With the medium, it was interesting.
Yeah.
She's a nice lady. She's got Facebook. She was cool. She's got Facebook, no IG.
I asked her, do you have like an Instagram? She wasn't. I think she said she had it, but she don't go there. Something she told me, but she mostly on Facebook. So I just put the link there and whatever. If you want to talk Facebook with her, check her out, and then in the near future.
Yeah, I might reach out to you. I'm like now. Like I said, tomorrow. I'm supposed to interview Big Jane. We're supposed to have doing tonight, but then stuff happened. I said, you know what? I don't want to leave. I don't want to have an empty muscle talk. So I said, maybe I already had this thing planned before, but then when Jane changed her mind and she said, well, let's do it on Monday. And then I said, because originally I was going to do Big Jane, and I was thinking about doing something like this before, but I said, you know what? I said, let me do like when Big Jane canceled my last interview. Said, okay, let's do Monday. And then like I said, it can be frustrating, because you have something set,
Oh,
everything's set. Yeah, and then and I like Jane, but I'm like
yeah, I
this. If
mean, it ain't nothing personal, but it's like, yo, you just have to be consistent. Cause I had an interview today, but I wasn't stressing it because, sometimes I need a break. It's a lot, and then certain things they telling you, and you gotta listen to what they saying. It's a lot. I'm not gonna lie. It ain't just, like you said, it's gotta understand this and all that stuff. So, but this she kind of to cancel on me today, but I didn't really care. So I like it's cool. Maybe she should get back to me, but I, some, at the time, when they do that, it can be they keep constantly doing it. It is a little frustrating stuff. Trying, you be trying not to let it get to you, but it's like you put things. The reason you getting frustrated because you kind of putting things together and stuff like that. You posting a video, then you kind of like writing things about them and all that type of stuff. And what I don't do that what you be doing, but I'll try to like make like an intro and stuff like that. And after a while, sometimes I don't be caring, man. It's like you come. That's why I used to write questions too. After a while, and then I just stopped because it was like they not coming. Like I don't know when y'all coming. Like give me a break. Like So, but it is what it is, man.
yeah, 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 I know, because that's why I don't do white down questions. But sometimes I work off
Yeah,
the top of my head, and then you
yeah,
guys in here, y'all be asking questions, and I say, well, that's why I do live interviews, not just for me, but also for you guys who are fans. Some of you guys might now have never met a female bodybuilder, and this is
mm,
your opportunity to talk to one or ask questions. You know, that's why I do my style. I mean, and I want to. This is like an advertisement, and when you advertise something like, when I had an interview with a lady, she told me a couple of days before the interview that she had something come up. So okay, I can move it. But when you wait to last a minute
yeah.
and tell me
I know.
something, I have to
Yeah,
scramble.
yeah.
But
It's
luckily,
annoying. It's annoying because you put all that energy there, and then it's like at least tell me ahead of time. You could postpone it and that, but after, but then again, we put ourselves out there with them, so I don't know. So
yeah, yeah. We have here one for Jay. Jay says, we forget how huge and big Kim Zbesky was 97, 99.
yeah,
So the WPD today is not even that big now. I would say close to it, but you might say that. Yeah. Also, he says the walls are getting thin between the two divisions, but like Sean McMillan uh, said earlier, they look more like the mid '90s women bodybuilders currently now. Yeah, you know. And if you look at figure look like the ladies from the '80s. I think even bigger for the ladies from the '80s. We go back to like Rachel McLesh and Carla Dunlap and so many others. I also saw it too. He says, Damon says, you listen to Sarah Vegas talk and hear how bad, low, deep, and raspy her voice is. You can tell she's on pads and antibiotics sterilization. You must say steroid, but say sterilization. But
mm,
yeah, because I think they don't be on it all year long. Some just be on it doing when it's time for their training, and it does have side effects because you're taking a level of hormones that can affect your body, especially for women. And if you are some of your ladies that say you want to, especially the ones say I'm still young, I want to have kids, and or they want to, just mostly like say want to have kids, you got to get out, let your body kind of wean off it after a while, and see how you grow and develop. But yes, they are natural competitors. As you know, our dear friend Miss Nicole Strauss, she's natural, but it's a different level compared to the more enhanced competitors. We talked about how there's so those two differences between enhanced and natural. It takes longer to put on the size and conditioning for a natural competitor than it does for an enhanced competitor. And you usually mostly use steroids for recovery because you want to get back in the gym and work out more. So, like I said, brother, like I said, this was just a little quick little thing, and I do appreciate you coming through and supporting me. Hello, it's me or him. So does that say? Let me see. It's one of us. Hello. It might be both. It might be him. You hear me? Well, if you can't hear me, just put something in the write some comment because I think I'm gonna end the show a bit. You know, I keep telling him invest in a new computer. I'm planning on trying to get another one plus a phone because my other phone is acting up now. I can use it for about an hour and then it's already down 50% within an hour. The battery's running hot. I need to use my phone when I make my content. I have my computer when I do my interviews, my lives, but my phone and my tablet are two things I use when I make my content. But here we got one more, and shout out to my man, David J says, which is why her crazy dry gyrations in her body is so supreme and hardcore with the conditioning. It's a sign of her pushing the limit of women's bodybuilding borderline wall. So I think you think you want to end this because
Yeah,
we've been going.
because I was about to tell you, like, I don't know if I because this computer acting up.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, yeah. Hopefully, Big J come tomorrow. I watched the interview. So.
I appreciate it. I hope she does too. I know things happen in life, but like I said, I want to be consistent with my lives, especially on Monday. I would have invited Keith, but he's been going through some stuff right now. I didn't want to bother him. I did
Yeah,
invite some other people, but they wouldn't. It's hard to get some people on there, but I do appreciate you coming on. I do.
yeah,
You support me, I support you.
yeah, no doubt. No.
Okay, we got a couple more here. We probably end this off, gentlemen. It says we have my man Sean Miller says Andre Shaw is 10 to 15 pounds heavier than Ken Zavetsky was in '99. That's true. It's a different level. Also for Vinny, he says wanna wait till 30 minutes for the list to come up. Well, if you want, I'll see. I can wait. Kale can he wants he can dive out, and because I appreciate him coming through.
All right.
If not, I'll do this. I'll come back later and I'll jump on. Um, I can put it on pause. Can I put this on pause? I think
You
I
could put
can.
this on pause.
No, I can't put it on pause because what it do it burns up. It burns up my time, and I have to
Yeah.
always clean up the time. So, uh, I'll do this, Vinny K. I'll jump on live through my tablet through my YouTube channel, so I won't have to burn up too much of my time on StreamYard. 'Cause StreamYard, you have so much time you got to use, and I got to
Yeah.
clear some
I
videos
think you
and
could also invite him. Like, you can also invite him on your phone or something through your phone, and then yeah, he can. But I think it's through your phone. I don't think you can do it in the computer or the tablet, if I'm not mistaken, because the phone, it's easier. But you can
well,
invite
actually,
him if he wants to come on the YouTube.
yeah, but actually, I can do this. I can just go to YouTube and just jump on YouTube Live. And that's different. It's different from
Yeah,
StreamYard. I've done it before.
yeah,
So
yeah.
the
That's what
problem
I'm
is,
saying. That's
yeah,
what
the
I'm
problem
saying.
is
Yeah,
I can't, show the list. I can mention the list or
you can show it, but you will have to show it like on your through your phone or through your tablet. Like there's like it's like it's like here. you can show like you show yourself, but you can show like let's say like you showing the screen, you can show the screen instead of like showing the camera focusing on you. If it
Or like,
makes sense.
well, I can do this. I just usually, as I usually do,
Yeah.
I'll just when the list comes out fully, I'll just do a video and talk about like I usually do. Because
Yeah.
I don't like I said, it's already a little after 9 o'clock. I'm an old man, can't stay up all night like I used to when I was a young buck.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta do something anyway. So, but yeah, man, thank you for inviting me once again, and let's do it next time, so
All right, brother, you're always welcome. I really appreciate you coming in, taking support me. I support you.
yeah, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You make some good content, so
You're getting there. You're making some good content too. It's just like I said, you have to work with what you know and how you know. And
yeah.
like I said, Dane, I would say I don't try to be like the female body channel or any others. I have my style. They have their style. You have your style. But it's good to try to still learn and also understand, especially when you do interviews with women in bodybuilding. You do other stuff like you talked to Session Girl the other day, and that's something, that's
I
just
did
something
that
you're good at.
yesterday. I did two interviews yesterday, but yeah, I recorded that one.
Yeah, because I made a comment, you didn't respond to it. So, yeah, so he had to record it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
brother,
yeah, let me bounce because this thing acting up with me. So, all
all
right,
right,
man.
good night. All right, good night. Good luck.
Good night.
All right, we have here this is from a man, Damien J says Andrea still has her femininity and she is a perfect balance. I would say that true. This is from Damien J says Sean, the difference in is Andrea Shaw looks more beautiful and feminine in the face than Kim Zaveski was back then. Not trying to knock on beauty, but the steroids did that. Yeah. But the thing about remember the thing about Kim, she had kids. So it didn't do it too bad if she can have kids. She has two sons. And those are big boys. Um, so the video says, sounds good. Well, I probably won't do it. I'll probably just do my regular videos once the list is out. Also, this is from Demi J says, love Big Jane. She's awesome and a beast in the gym. Plus, I see potential in her. I think she's doing something live too. Go check out her channel. Go check out Big Jane. And also says, Big Jane thighs look like they can squeeze the head off of a Greek deity, whatever he says, But guys, like I said, this was something I put up real quick because I didn't want to miss a Monday. I do appreciate y'all support. I thank y'all for coming through and sharing your comments. Congratulations to Natalia Cuejo. Congratulations to Lola Montez, all the other competitors that competed at the Pittsburgh Power and Fitness Show, Expo last weekend. And can't wait to see because we do have a couple of shows coming up. New York Pro this weekend, and the next weekend, I think towards the end of the month will be the Ultimate Classic, and that's a show that Richard Daniels doing. I think she'll win that show. As long as the Natalia doesn't do it, it's a good chance for winning. But Natalia really ever do that show. She really ever does. Because it's one thing I think it's a show where they'll do a live stream for that show. So I think one thing is she don't get she's not going to do a show on a live stream, but she will do the New York Pro. So folks, I appreciate my man KL for coming through, and thank y'all for here and your support and your comments, and I hope your best for this rest of the month. Can you believe it? It's always second week. We're only 2 weeks in May. Just finished Mother's Day. Shout out to all you ladies, mothers, true muscle mommies. Shout out to y'all. I hope everything going well with you and yours and your families. And thank you for my supporters. Shout out to my man Damien J for coming through. Vinny K. Vinny. Also Lawrence Perkins, Sean McMillan, and anybody who watched this, support us. And like again, guys, you like making comments. I leave that pin up there for y'all to come in. Stop being like my man The great late Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch says, "Stop being a bunch of yellow belly egg sucking dogs. Come to courage. Come on, speak your mind. Come on here. That's why I have these open discussions. I want to hear from you. I want to get your thoughts." So we appreciate your support. Thank y'all for commenting, and see you next time. For your man, Always Joke Page, aka the Emperor of MuscleTalk Talk. Like, don't like, subscribe. I'm out. Good night, good luck, and God bless.